Can you update us on your efforts with the migrant buses that are coming from Texas and Arkansas that we see seemingly on an increasing basis down near Union Station?
Sure. So we are very focused, and we continue to be very focused on having the federal government do its part and take the lead in addressing what we see as a growing humanitarian crisis with people who are seeking asylum. Coming across the country to get to their final destinations. And we're going to continue to pursue federal involvement.
What does that mean? What does that look like, pursue federal involvement?
Oh, well, Mark, I think you know we've had a number of discussions. We've facilitated FEMA's involvement with $1 million grant that has now been increased to work with our a lead nonprofit agency. We've facilitated using those grant funds to set up respite a center in a neighboring jurisdiction. And I've also asked the Secretary of the Army to deploy the DC National Guard to help lead that effort.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that request? What is that going to look like? Do you plan on, how long are you requesting the Guard for? Are you planning on like a processing center or something more formal than what's been going on the sidewalk the past few weeks?
Well, we need space, and we need the federal government to be involved. So I've asked for the deployment of the Guard, as long as we need the Guard to deal with a humanitarian crisis that we expect to escalate. The number of people crossing the border seeking asylum, we expect to only go up. And we need to make sure that there is a national response, not an ad hoc, city by city, state by state response. We know that the federal government does this because we see this type of response with Afghan refugees, and now we see it with people who are coming to the United States from Ukraine. So there is a robust federal response that helps people with transportation on to their final destinations, and in even getting them a legal route to work and to a work permit. And we need a parallel system for the increasing numbers of people that we will see crossing the border seeking asylum.
I appreciate that. My last question on this. You've I think, said this in the past, but do you believe that the federal government has a bigger responsibility in this, what you're calling a humanitarian crisis, because of the reason that, I mean, is this politics or is this a humanitarian, I mean, you called it a humanitarian crisis, but I think you've also blamed the governors of Texas and Arkansas for doing this as, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
well,
like
it's obviously politically motivated. And the reason why we're different in this is that people aren't coming to DC as their final destination. What we see is that they are moving on to their final destinations through DC. And also, what makes us different is we need to ask the president for use of our National Guard, which we know can be very helpful in these logistical matters and has access to space.